Hey my lovelies, welcome back to the channel. Another Ram Charger episode. I'm very excited.
It is. Unfortunately, I am leaving for the day.
But before he leaves,
too soon?
before he leaves, we're having a little problem with the budget. We are very quickly
over. Just gone.
It's a bit of a disaster. So we've had to get back to the drawing board. We're going to be taking some of those items off, one of them being the axle shafts. But that's okay because Nate is going all stock and we're going to go all stock too, I guess.
Yeah, we're also going to have to sell a bunch of the stuff off of the Ram Charger.
Yes, we're going to be selling a lot of this stuff. We were really excited about the build and we just kind of kept going and this would be cool, and that would be cool, and that would be great. And now we're kind of like, wow.
Yeah, we sat down, punched in all the numbers, and we're like, okay.
Remember, this is a build challenge for $15,000. Although I don't think we get penalized, or maybe we do get penalized for spending a little over. We do not want that to happen.
But at the same time, we want to get up to that $15,000 and bring the best vehicle within that budget.
We're planning on bringing the biggest and the best and the beastliest looking vehicle, Rad Charger.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good, but I'll let you head away and we've got work to do today.
Good luck.
Bye. Okay, so we are gonna move on to the axles. We're gonna tear these apart since they've been all nicely cleaned up, but let's talk strategy just for a second. We're gonna be putting air lockers into this axle and we're gonna be re-gearing it. So when we reassemble everything, we'll have a new carrier, a new ring and pinion, and we'll have a master install kit, which will include the carrier bearings, the shims, and the pinion bearings, making this center section pretty much good as new. Now, there are a couple of things that we've had to pull back on due to budget, as we were talking about before. One of those things being axle shafts. But after watching Nate's video, if you haven't seen Dirtlifestyle Nate's video on his build for this challenge, the link is in the description below. Definitely check that out. But he's bringing his stuff stock. So we thought, you know what? If he's going to bring his vehicle stock to the party, then we will bring our Super Duty 35 spline axle shafts to the party. So that's what we're going to do. Now, we are going to be switching out the U-joints for two reasons. First of all, we're tearing it all apart. So if you have stuff teared apart, you probably just should do it anyway. And the second reason being, these are regreasable joints and Rudy and I just don't like them. We prefer to have non-greasable joints. Now, if you don't know the difference, we're gonna quickly go over to the table over here because I know a bunch of you are screaming at your TV right now. Well, why didn't you do that when you had Mischief Maker apart a couple of weeks ago? And the reason why I know that you guys are going to do that is because some of you gave me a really, really hard time about it. But hopefully this quick explanation on the U-joints will you'll kind of know why. This is a perfect opportunity for me to explain to you why I didn't switch out the U-joints in Mischief Maker before. So these are the three typical U-joints that I've come across. We have greasable, non-greasable, and specialty. So let's start with the greasable joint right here. You can see the Zerk fitting right here is on the cross, and there are little channels up to the caps where the grease will push through these channels up into the caps and grease your needle bearings right there. Perfect, right? Not really. This is a hollow joint. Because there are channels that go through here, it's not ideal for off-roading. In my personal opinion, these are just a disaster waiting to happen. And if you're gonna use these, then you better have some spares with you on the trail because it's absolutely gonna be one of the first things to break. Let's move on to the non-greasable. Much stronger, still have those needle bearings in there. This is perfect for a trail rig, not so much for a vehicle that has the front shafts turning all the time. So something like a tow rig, not the best U-joint to use, but for a rig like Mischief Maker, when we have the transfer case in neutral and we have those hubs disconnected, nothing is turning up front, nothing is spinning, which is perfect. But when we lock those hubs, it starts spinning again. That is what this is for. The thing you have to look out for, you just have to keep an eye on them, because that grease will eventually burn out, and or where the seal is, dirt, water, sand will get in there, and you're just gonna have to replace the entire joint. But I like these way better. Then, third and finally, we're gonna save the best to last. We have the specialty joints. This is a super joint by Yukon Gear and Axle. This is what I've had in Mischief Maker for the past 3.5 years. You can see that there are no needle bearings, making those posts much, much thicker compared to the others. You know, this is very small, much smaller than the super joint right there. Same with the regreasable. Again, much smaller. So a much stronger U-joint right here. And the way that you grease these, they are greasable. The caps go on top, the Zerk fitting goes on top of that cap, and you grease from the top down. So it's not a hollow joint. You don't have those channels. The grease is literally going in from the top, just around the cap where it needs to be, and nowhere else. So it's fantastic. Now, the reason why I didn't switch out the U-joints in Mischief Maker is because the caps are the things that you have to really replace on here. These are the wear and tear, not the U-joint itself. So you just have to make sure that you keep an eye on the caps, but you just replace the caps. It's fairly easy to do. They come in a kit, which is about $130 to $150 for the kit. And don't get me wrong, these are expensive to own and maintain, but I have never been left on a trail because of a U-joint. So these are really, really fantastic. They're gonna last a long time. And again, it's just those caps that you're going to replace. So I hope that explanation of U-joints kind of helped you out a little bit. It's kind of overdue, especially after doing the work that I did on Mischief Maker and after all of the questions. But my question to you is, what kind of U-joints do you use and why? What is your preference? Remember, I am absolutely no professional at this whatsoever. Just my own personal preference and opinions on here, people. I am so excited about getting to work on this axle, but enough chit-chatting. We have some work to do. Finally, they said. Finally. Okay, so here's what's happening. The snap ring is not wanting to come out. You know when something just bites you over and over and over again? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start taking this side apart right now, because this side is not cooperating with me and I'm starting to get frustrated. This is me frustrated, by the way. Okay, I've taken the second side apart up to the snap ring part, and what it is I just don't have those heavy duty snap ring pliers that I need. Who does have them is Harbor Freight. So we're gonna quickly run there, grab those, come back and get this job done. snap ring out? Let me tell you a quick story. So we went to Harbor Freight, we got the tool, too big for the holes here. Didn't even know. So Walter, of course, with his awesome mind, was like, let's file them down. So we filed them down and managed to get them out. But holy moly, that's tough. That's a tough snap ring right there. Let's continue working. Okay, so everything is looking so good so far. I'm really happy with that. Just everything is cleared, axle shafts are out. Now we're gonna work on the diff right here. So we just have to get that diff cover off, which is just gonna zap a couple of boop, 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 boop. And we're gonna drain everything, drain that oil, that diff fluid into a container. And we're gonna take the carrier out and everything out from in here, clean it up inside of there, and we should be good to go. Gosh, this diff cover is so light. He has come back.
So our bearing puller doesn't have long enough bolts to make it work properly. So we're gonna have to lengthen them, and I found this piece of metal on the ground. That's what we're gonna use.
First of all, it wasn't just on the ground.
Your shop is a slob.
It was in a nice little box in the corner with spare things. But everything is looking pretty good though. We're going to take the bearings off so that we can get to the shims, which is very important. So this is cool. So we're going to tighten this and it should just take the bearing off, right?
It should do something.
Yeah, in theory. In theory. What are we doing next? Because this isn't working, right?
We're gonna try pulling up at the same time doing everything else.
Whoa.
Oh, that is awesome.
That plate will never buckle. It'll never bend. Never bend. That was a lot of force.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay, Holly.
Yeah.
Do you want to make another one of those?
Yeah, of course
And
I
I'll
do.
go fix these.
You're gonna try and reuse them?
Heck yeah, I'm going to.
Okay, so you can see the shims under here. This is why we're taking this off, so that we can measure the shims. I mean, of course, they're absolutely destroyed here, but we can take a reading from them. And also, you normally do them individually, because if you do them together, sometimes you get a bad reading. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to measure them one at a time, like you're supposed to, and we're going to measure them as a pack. and we're gonna see the difference so that we can show you guys. Today's been a bit of a day. Everything has been fighting. This axle has been fighting me all day, but we haven't given up. We're not finished yet. Okay, we managed to get that bearing off, which is simple. Again, using the same method as before. And we're just gonna measure these shims right here. Point 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.5. Let's see them all together. It's like 1 off. It's supposed to be 1, 1. It's 1, 2. All right, guys, it is super late and we are very hungry and tired. I have been fighting this for a couple of hours now. Not quite finished the job, unfortunately. Need to take that pinion out the back, but I'm going to be doing that over the weekend with Rudy. Remember, this is part of the OnxOffroad Build Challenge. The link will be in the description below where you can vote for your favorite team to win a chance to go to the ultimate adventure this year. Now guys, I am absolutely exhausted. I'm very, very hungry, turning a little bit hangry, but as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. These are, and the second reason is that these are and the second reason being these are regreasable joints, and Rudy and I just don't like